A public consultation is currently underway in our country regarding so-called voluntary assisted euthanasia. In a white paper published by the government, it is being proposed that patients will be legally permitted to end their own lives with the assistance of medical professionals, either in hospital or at home, if they meet the following conditions. They are over 18, suffering from a terminal illness, and they have been told by doctors they have less than 6 months to live. We invite you to reflect carefully and understand the implications of the white paper on your future and that of your loved ones, so that you are in a position to add your voice to the consultation process. The voluntary assisted euthanasia being proposed is, in fact, assisted suicide. That is, providing a patient with the necessary tools and assistance to end their own life by self-administering what the white paper refers to as medicine, provided through the National Health Service. What this means is that the patient will be required to deliver a lethal dose to himself or herself. Proponents of the white paper claim that the process contains various safeguards to limit who can receive this lethal concoction, as well as to protect against coercion by family members and third parties. However, we know from experience of other countries that over time, these safeguards are eventually eroded, and more people end their lives for one reason or another. Life begins to be considered a burden rather than a gift. A medical duty to care may even become a duty to kill. A right to die can become a duty to die. We must also say that despite all the proposed safeguards, and safeguards are never free from abuse, a killing of even one person remains a killing. We consider every human life to be precious and valuable. No one should feel worthless. Someone considering ending his or her life should not receive from the state the assistance to commit suicide, but rather they should receive the support to live with dignity, surrounded by love and care. God's commandment, "You shall not kill," a principle engraved in our hearts and at the core of our own society, always continues to guide us in life. We must never be complicit in killing. Many doctors recognize their responsibility to remain faithful to the oath they took to save life and not to help end it. As a church, we recognize that our constant work in favor of life is a valuable contribution to the National Suicide Prevention Strategy in Malta, published by the government just a few weeks ago. This strategy demands consistency. The white paper, through its proposal of assisted suicide in particular cases, undermines this important strategy. Our mission must always be in favor of respecting and safeguarding the life of every person. We wish to recall the clear words of Pope Francis when he explained that euthanasia, and we quote, is a failure of love, a reflection of a throwaway culture in which persons are no longer seen as a paramount value to be cared for and respected. Indeed, euthanasia is often misleadingly presented as a form of compassion. However, compassion, a word that means to suffer with, does not involve ending a life intentionally, but rather the willingness to share in the suffering of those who are facing the final stages of their journey on this earth. This quote is from May 2024. There is an alternative. Instead of directing our energies at providing opportunities for assisted suicide, our appeal to the state is to strengthen through all the investment necessary. Palliative care for all who need it, and we emphasize for all, so that we can offer the best possible care until the final moments of life. We all know that much still needs to be done in this respect. That is why we fully support the commitment set out in the National Strategy for Palliative Care in Malta, recently published by the government. What is palliative care? It is holistic care that greatly reduces suffering. It is not just medical care to relieve pain, but also psychological, social, and spiritual support. It is a genuine form of compassion. In the words of Pope Francis, palliative care, while seeking to alleviate the burden of pain as much as possible, is above all a concrete sign of closeness and solidarity with our brothers and sisters who are suffering. At the same time, this kind of care can help patients and their loved ones to accept the vulnerability, frailty, and finitude that mark human life in this world. In this sense, it is appropriate to use medicine to ease the suffering of those in critical condition, and to administer this not with intention of causing death, but to relieve pain, even if, as a consequence, life may be shortened. We believe a patient also has the right to refuse extraordinary medical treatment and to decline disproportionate treatment that causes unbearable suffering and offers no hope. That right is unfettered. We must show compassion to those who are suffering due to illness, especially to those nearing the end of life. In us, they should find empathy, closeness, great care, support, and the necessary palliative care. When some people reach a critical and dependent state, they may begin to feel like a burden on their relatives or the close to them. They may say, I do not want to be a burden on those around me. Some may start to feel it as their duty to end their life because they are suffering, see no meaning in life, or have lost the will to continue living. We must accompany these people with love, not abandon them, and give them all the help they need in the difficult and trying circumstances in which they find themselves. We must never, in any way, make them feel that it would be better if they ended their life. Yet if this white paper becomes law, who will protect the vulnerable from coercion or from feeling a burden on family? We would like to express our deep appreciation to the many families who care for relatives and friends with terminal illnesses, for the invaluable work of Hospice Malta. St. Michael Hospice is a beacon of hope in Maltese society, and for the many professionals and others working in this field in hospitals and care homes. We pray for them that they may continue with great dedication to uphold the protection of life and the dignity of every person. We pray that we may always be at the service of those who are suffering, as Jesus taught us, with a heart that is gentle and humble. Let us end pain, not life. Let us show compassion and care until the end. We bestow our pastoral blessing upon each and every one of you.